Hello, everyone. It is Friday, October 5th, 2018, or October 5th, 2018. This is sig-aws. We have a fairly light agenda, but if you do want to put anything on it, please do so we can be sure to get to it. I am your host, Justin Santa Barbara from Google. And I think first up on our agenda, Aish, I see you're still typing in there, but do you want to have the floor for a bit?
Yes, I will. Thanks, Justin. Hey all, if you guys have heard me say the same thing in other SIG meetings, I apologize for repeating myself, but I'm Aish. I'm the 113 release lead for Kubernetes. Me and Kendrick, we are doing rounds of the different SIGs this week and next, mainly to introduce ourselves and also to highlight the 113 timeframe. You would have already seen emails in both the Kubernetes dev channels and also in PRs. We have a super short release this time. It's about 10 weeks. And code freeze is set to November 15, and the anticipated release is December 10th. So we're just meeting with SIGs ahead of time just to highlight this really short time frame and get a sense of what you are planning for the release itself. Again, Kendrick sent an email out yesterday saying that we are planning this to be more like a stability release, and the encouragement is to focus working on things that are much easier to land. It could be bug fixes, test fixes, or features that have differed from previous milestones that you think you can wrap up in the short time frame. So I just wanted to highlight that as you start thinking about your enhancements load for this release. The official enhancements collection, we are calling features enhancements right now, and enhancement can be any feature work or a bug fix. So the official collections date will start on Monday, the coming Monday, October 8th. So the request is to open issues in the Kubernetes features repo for anything that you're planning to work on this release. We want one of the guidance from SIG-PM is to back every enhancement with a cap. So if you could open an issue in the features repo and then fill out the template there, which tells us the confidence of each feature, the test coverage, docs, and when you're likely to wrangle all this in by code freeze. So that will give us a good sense of where each feature stands. So that's all I wanted to say. If you don't have any other questions, then there are a couple specific features that I wanted to discuss, but I can take questions before that.
Hey, so I have an update, Ash, for you. We've been obviously chatting offline about this, and I've mentioned this to Justin as well. So we're probably going to do this for the first time from AWS. So AWS ALB Ingress Controller will go for an alpha release at this point. We will try to add all the testing integration, but we've had some offline discussions yesterday about how we could do that properly. And so we've done the unit testing, and the integration testing needs some more work. That's why we will punt the beta for next release, 1.14. Also, I had committed to you verbally that the CSI driver, which Cheng is working on with the Red Hat engineers, that'll go into alpha 1.13. We feel pretty confident about that.
Okay.
We have also worked with Mike Root here, who he's sitting in the room, and he's basically working on the out-of-tree CCM implementation. And Justin is reviewing all our PRs going out. So that will also hit alpha in 1.13. Right now, our commitments are only for these three features. I have work in progress keps, and I will update the feature list, the link that you and Stephen both shared with me. So I'll follow up that process. Justin, I'll ping you just to review it before we can update them. Also, I wanted to talk about the 423 NLB issue that you had highlighted. I think testing in general, I'm an honest person, and I'll say in general, it's a mess for AWS, which we want to change going forward. So I'm a bit nervous to commit to beta, but what we want to do is I've taken a couple of bugs that we can fix, and maybe I will use some help from my crew and Yang, who's working on the LB ingress controller on my team, to see if we can fix the features. Of course, Justin can help us. He knows everything about AWS. So we'll try to fix the features. I am nervous about committing to beta because you told me that we need to have testing. So most likely NLB beta will move to 1.14 just because it's a short cycle.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for being on top of this. I know we've had offline chats, and thanks a lot. Yeah, I completely agree that having good stable tests and showing that is definitely a gate for beta. And happy that the SIG has made that conscious choice to move it to 114. Great, and looks like you guys are already ahead of the alpha features. So I'll look for the caps and follow up there.
Cool, Justin. I want to ask you to jump in and say something if you feel like it's not aligned to what you've seen in the past. Please comment.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's great to see. I will, but yeah, it's great to see everyone like doing all this work. And I think it's wonderful, and I think it's ambitious, but I think that's okay. I think there was one thing in the agenda which I thought was interesting, Aish, which is you said since it's out of tree, well, we need release notes mention.
Yes.
And that's more like a question for SIG release, right? Because I don't know what we're going to do as we're moving more and more out of tree, what we're going to do about release notes. Because like otherwise, if it isn't in the release notes, then the release notes aren't, for the project. But
yeah, I'm going to kick this to SIG PM a little bit, because I know Stephen and folks are working around the process and how do we seamlessly move out of tree while we do this, and if there are really good mentions that need to go out in general, then how do we wrangle those? My question here was, if you guys need that this needs to be mentioned, would you be able to put that in the cap? And then I'll follow up with Stephen to see what's the process here.
Wonderful. And those discussions are happening in SIG release or in SIG PM?
I'll bring it up in the release meeting, but I will be looking to SIG PM to take it, discuss it, and come back with like something for us to work on. Yeah. I will add this to the Monday release meeting notes.
Awesome. Thank you. That sounds great. So if there's nothing else on that topic, should we move on to the next one? Which I believe is our, wait, something just disappeared. But the next item is our charter. Yishi, do you want to take the floor?
Sure. I just wanted a review on the charter. The review was done by Joe Beta, Brandon Phillips, Justin, and Chris. I did make some changes. So a couple of things I added was organization. Who are the chairs? What is the election process for the chairs? Who are the members? And who are the maintainers and owners? So Justin, you might want to check that section one more time. This was an ask from Chris, and I used our friend Andrew Kim's help from SIG Cloud Provider to copy some of the content. But other than that, I followed the format of SIG, of all the charters as defined in the governance. And so if you all could take a look and give a final pass, that would be great. I think Aaron said that it's okay to test, but I'd like to put this to rest quickly. So yeah, that's an ask.
That's wonderful. And thank you so much for doing that, Nishi. Yes, it is important. I don't think there's anything controversial in there, but yes, it is important for everyone to make sure that they are on board with what's in there. So if you have time, it'd be great to have a look. And thank you so much, Nishi, for it is long overdue, and thank you for actually doing that. We have a question. If there's nothing else, then the next thing on the agenda is there is a question about the COPS 111 alpha. So this is coming soon. I think this is, I want to turn this, I want to keep like the separation between COPS office hours and SIG AWS, but hopefully coming soon. I think we rebased a bunch of code on the latest Kubernetes. We fixed some issues. We got etcd going. I think we are looking good right now. sorry, we've got etcd3 going with the future versions. So I think we're in great shape. So soon, maybe this weekend, but soon. And I don't know if anyone else has any other topics they would like to discuss.
I have one question, Justin. So one of the problems, at least we are having, is people tend to raise their issues and problems in sig-aws more than making an official issue against Kubernetes/Kubernetes and labeling it as sig-aws. Also, it's becoming a hassle for me to go through and sift through all the issues and then kind of try to solve the issues. Someone's smiling Jason is smiling. So I'm wondering if there is a better way to link, to basically pull the issues related to sig-aws and encourage people to create PRs with the right label and then host them in the community page where there's a link to the PR section for sig-aws, so that it's easy for us to then look at that list and then solve all the issues quickly. Do you understand my question?
I mean, I guess what you would like more people to use GitHub issues, but in a different repo, or?
Yeah, in sig-aws community, there is a section for open PRs or sig-aws miscellaneous. If you look at the README, and is there a way to actually tag issues for sig-aws and post them there directly so we can just go look at that particular section and then assign it to different people?
I mean, I think we try to use the sig-aws label in the Kubernetes repo. It may be that there is a backlog of things in there, or I know that it's the case that there is a backlog of things in there. But
it's very hard to search is my problem. And then remember to flush out the backlog because it's all under Kubernetes/Kubernetes. So it stays there unless I go and specifically look at things.
There is a dashboard, which I don't know if the dashboard has issues. Let me bring it up. I can't remember the PR dashboard. There's a Kubernetes PR dashboard, which I think currently only has PRs, but it would be good if it had issues as well, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should try to encourage people to use issues if we're gonna. I mean, I think that's what we're doing so far: GitHub issues and appropriate use of tagging, and we can try to build more tooling on top of that. But I don't know if I think the idea of pointing users to a different repo is going to be tricky, and I think that if we were more responsive, or if I was more responsive on Kubernetes issues, then we would get more people doing it there, as it were.
Okay, I mean, I'm just putting you in a difficult position and asking more questions and bringing solutions. So we'll try doing whatever it is we're doing right now. I guess one ask from everyone would be to encourage people to open issues in Kubernetes/Kubernetes with the right label instead of responding on sig-aws. It's important to get people to respond, to create their issues and PRs. That would be hugely helpful as a starter.
Yeah, if you do a PR, you are forced to assign a sig. I think you're certainly yelled at if you don't, and by a bot. I don't know if we actually only have 70 issues open right now in Kubernetes, which feels like something's gone wrong there, but I don't know.
I guess my point is people just ask a lot of questions in sig-aws and they never open an issue. And by sig-aws, what I mean is the Slack channel. And if everyone could encourage people to create issues, then we have a better written track of it, and then we can design features, look at things, and make calculated decisions on the future roadmap.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that also there's a, you don't even know whether something is an issue or not. And so Slack can be quite an efficient way of resolving that, right? I'm trying to do, it's something called like the XY problem, I think, where like you say you want to do X and you're trying to do X and you're hitting a problem, but in fact you want to do Y and you just need someone to say, hold on, just go read about ingress. Like the classic example, I guess, would be, how do I have more than 50 load balancers, right?
Yeah.
And the answer is probably, do you know about ingress? Because then you don't have to buy 50 ELBs. And but there are people for whom that do want to run more than 50 ELBs genuinely, but most of the people actually want to learn about ingress.
Yeah.
And that can be a simple like Slack. So I don't know. I think I agree with you that when something progresses beyond a certain level of technical complexity, then we should redirect from Slack to an issue. But I think that Slack is great for, hey, do you know about ingress type things?
Yeah.
I've got a question on out of tree stuff. Where do we direct people to? Like the cloud provider, AWS, for example. I actually had someone come in our cluster API channel asking for help with that today, and I wasn't sure where to direct them.
Either would be fine, Nadir.
Okay.
Because the entry still is under. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Most likely, the goal is the out of tree CCM will land in cloud provider. But right now, the entry binary is still with sig-aws.
Okay.
But then AWS is working on the out of tree implementation, so.
We're dual maintaining it right now, though. Fixes are going in tree and then being ported out.
Yeah.
Eventually that'll flip, but for now that's what we're going.
You can be louder, Mike. I don't think Nadir heard you.
Yeah, right now we're maintaining the in-tree code and also porting those fixes to the out-of-tree code. Probably post 113 we'll flip that and stop maintaining the in-tree stuff. So I guess people can file issues against in-tree and I'll double maintain for a while.
Okay, thanks.
And I do think it is unlikely that we will ever reach a situation where users that are filing issues like know the correct component that is not working and are able to file it in the correct repo. So I think we'll always have to deal with this. And so I think if in doubt, like filing the central repo, and if it becomes a problem, we can always move it.
Yeah, and maybe put both labels for now. SIG Cloud Provider and SIG AWS, and then we'll figure out how it can be divvied out.
Yeah, and there are definitely like issues with like SIG AWS and SIG storage for EBS type issues. So I think that is a reasonable pattern. I see a couple of other people have turned on their cameras. I don't know if they are raising their virtual hands by doing so. All right, otherwise we don't have anything else on the agenda. So I guess final call for any other topics. Otherwise, I wish everyone a very happy weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.